Hey music fans, as a roadie I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. All right, Paul Simon. You worked for Paul Simon. I got an idea. Have you ever heard of Tommy Johansson?
I cannot say I honestly have ever heard of Tommy.
Let's jump into Tommy, and you can let me know what you think. Let's do it. My next episodes here on my segment called Road Dogs and Rock Gods is my roadie brother, Phillip Kriz. He is a roadie, or an ex-roadie as well. I don't think he tours anymore. He's writing books, but he has toured with Paul Simon, Carrie Underwood, Guns N' Roses, Queen with Adam Lambert, Kiss, Justin Timberlake, Green Day, and Jay-Z. He recently wrote a book called The Roadie Cartel. You guys can pick it up on Amazon if you want to. He's going to be coming out with an audiobook soon, if it's not released by the time I release these. But you can find that on the Amazon link too. Phillip's a bro. I enjoy his company. Many of us fellow roadies are proud of him for writing this book. I hope you guys check it out and I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to jump into a bunch of episodes with him. We'll see what he does and doesn't like. Hopefully he likes a lot of the music that we all like too. But we'll see what happens. I want to throw a shout out, a thank you to the people at Unite Food. They sent me these wonderful protein bars here, and I have tried a couple. I really enjoyed them. Thank you. It is a woman-owned company, so I'm proud of these ladies for creating something really good to eat. I encourage you guys to check it out. Also, if you guys watch my podcast regularly, you know I kind of like to wear hoodies. I wear a lot of hoodies. One Golden Thread is a company I love. They sent me shirts, and I was wearing those shirts regularly during the summer. Now during the winter, I've been wearing this. They just sent me this. It's an awesome hoodie. Thank you, people at One Golden Thread. You guys can read more about their products at onegoldenthread.com. I encourage you truly to do so. They're a great company. They do a lot of good stuff too. Anyway, let's jump into this and let's see what Phillip here has to say. Okay, you toured with Paul Simon. I'm a huge Paul Simon fan. Hard not to be. The guy's amazing. Rhythm of the Saints. Might have listened to 1,000 times. I don't know, a lot of times. It's absolutely brilliant in all aspects. All of that. Okay, so The Sound of Silence here. This is Tommy Johansson. Tommy Johansson is a guitar player. Traditionally, he's in a band called Sabaton. Have you heard of them?
I have heard of them,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. So he's the guitar player for Sabaton. I think they kick ass. I hope you agree with me. But he actually doesn't sing in Sabaton, as you may know. So he does his own channel. He releases his own music. He's a hell of a singer. And I think he's a really cool guy. I enjoy the guy. He does watch some of these videos. So
that's
anyhow,
awesome.
We'll see what you think of him doing some Paul Simon, man.
All right, let's do it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless sleeps I walk alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turn my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without midst of the sound of silence. Fool said I do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrop fell and echoed in the well of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god he made. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispers to the sound of silence.
Yeah, that was good. Wow.
I haven't watched that in a while. So, you liked it?
Okay, so I don't know. I don't know him personally, but I didn't know that he was in that band, Sabaton. Great band. I've heard some of their stuff, so I can't say I'm like a giant fan. That song clearly meant something to him, and he definitely showed it. It was amazing. That was really cool.
Such powerful prose. What a beautifully
Yeah.
written song. So,
And his
in that-
take too. Yeah, sorry, just his in his complete own right. He owned that.
He did. It was well, he's saying it's for his friend here, so I guess there was
Mhm.
meaning behind it, but his performances are always good. There's a lot of humor in a lot of the other ones, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
very good. Yeah, I really I he gets a laugh out of me often, and it's a sincere when it's good. So, in the
Okay.
vein here of prose, of strong writing and whatnot, a question for you would be why'd you write your book? Why did you care? Why were you bored on the road and you're like, I've got to come up with something to do, or what? Why?
I always, since I actually, my best friend reminded me of this when I told him I was actually like, I didn't even tell anybody till I was probably like almost done with it. And one of my closest friends, I held it off from him too. And he, when I said it to him, he goes, "Man, you always wanted to write a book since high school. That's so amazing that you did this." Fast forward to when I was on the road. Yes, there was a moment where I was like, man, watching all these other dudes make millions of dollars. I need to make my own millions of dollars. And so I thought about writing like and I'm going to say this in the best way possible, just a Dumb and Dumber American Pie style screenplay. I was like, man, I can write a Roadie screenplay. Like there was like Roadie Warp Tour and all these other Roadie shows. And you hear people always tell, I'm going to write my Roadie story. I'm going to write this. Oh, you should write a story.
Yeah.
And I just decided when the pandemic hit, I had heard a guy named Jack Carr say he was a SEAL, and then he wrote a fiction story, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write a fiction story. And I went fictional as opposed to autobiography, because and you know this very well, like writing is hard for one, but fiction I was able to kind of play with it a little bit more than try to like hide names and hide stories and stuff like that. So that's why. But I had time for once in my life. I had unlimited time. I was home from the industry being shut down, so I decided to write.
So you wrote all of it at home. You didn't write any of it while touring.
Absolutely, it was 100% written after the fact that I in 2020 I started April of 2020.
Yeah, when I was touring, I wrote a lot. I just was always writing because I was, there's a lot of downtime. So,
But as you know, like there's a lot of downtime, but all of a sudden you just get super busy for like 10 weeks. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, wait, what did I like? I found a notebook where I'd started to write something and it just never played out because I never kept good track of what I was doing. And
got it.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's the first thing is structure. It's tough. I'm not honestly that good at structure either. And it's the most important part I know, but I'm kind of like all over the place. So it's difficult. So
You did it
that
though.
question was for me. I was intrigued to see what you'd say. So cool.
Well, yeah. It was a completely after the road. I had nothing but unlimited time and I decided to go fiction as opposed to auto.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Why don't we hop over to the UK here? Have you ever heard of a performer by the name of Ren?
Ooh, I feel like I have. Can't say I could name you a song, but I feel like I've heard that name pop up somewhere.
Okay, let's jump into it. Let's see if you recognize the guy. Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.